Hey guys, it's Ross Scott on the Space Couch here. I'm going to be reviewing this, The Dark Volume by G.W. Dahlquist, the sequel to the Glass Books of the Dream Eaters. And as it says here, beware your nightmares, lest they come true. So this picks up almost straight after the end of the previous book, where the airship carrying the Cabal had crashed into the ocean, and Celeste and Chang and Svenson had swam ashore. So Celeste is basically, she's kind of like unconscious and she's recovering in this village on the coast, where suddenly there are a bunch of murders. People get their throat cut, others have been killed, clearly with the influence of the blue glass. So it's quite clear that people from the airship, from the Cabal, have survived. So Cardinal and Svenson both end up leaving Celeste in the care of Elise Dujong, who's also survived, to try and find these murderers and also find out what's going on with the Cabal and where their plots are standing. So basically, the Contessa has survived because, of course, and Francis Zonk has survived. And he survived by basically stabbing himself with some blue glass to give him the strength and the will to continue on, although it's had a terrible effect and he's almost like a rotting zombie now. But before he left the airship, he took an empty glass book and placed it under the Comte d'Orcance's head as he was dying to extract his memories so they could then use those memories and re-implant them in another body, and that would be of Robert van Darf, the Magnet. So not only will they have control of his fortune, they'll also have control of the Count's alchemical knowledge. So anyway, all of the characters, Celeste, obviously she wakes up in the end, they're all making their way back to the city to try and find out what's going on. Alliances of convenience between the Contessa and Celeste, between the Contessa and Svenson, between Zonk and Chang, as you'd expect from these books, because everyone's always up in the air. But the city is in chaos, and they're being looked for by the remnants of the Cabal, because the underlings, they are now trying to seize control now that the top layer has gone. Whereas Contessa and Zonk, the Contessa, are trying to implement the next stage of the plan, which is to use the book of the Count's memories and implant it into the body. But because it was taken at the moment of his death, it's a book of death, and it's full of corruption. And anyone coming into contact with it, they become physically ill, they lose hair, the gums recede, all that sort of thing. Celeste, of course, touches it, and she has some of that corruption in her, as well as the Count's memories. But the remaining Zonk sibling, Charlotte Trapping, who was married to Arthur Trapping, whose murder started all of this in the first place in the first book, she is also on the hunt as well. And they all end up, all of the main characters, at the Zonk Armaments Works, because, I keep saying Francesca, that's the daughter, Charlotte has taken Robert van Derf to there, and she wants to implant the memories also and take control of him. They're all trying to take control, they're all trying to continue with their plans, they're all trying to backstab each other. Because, of course, it wouldn't be a Cabal if they didn't have their own secret plots. But they're all at the factory, and the book does get implanted into Robert van Derf, but he's not going to be anyone's servant. He is now the Comte d'Orcan's Oscar Wayland, and he is taking control of everything that's going on. So it ends up a massive explosion, characters all scattered. Celeste thinks that Chang and Svenson are both dead. The Contessa has survived, and she is this close to killing Celeste, but she says, no, I'm not going to kill you when you're injured. When I kill you, I want you to know that I'm killing you. You know how she is. And then she's gone. Francis Zonk is also gone. Well, no, he's converted into blue glass like Mrs. Marchmore and the others. So he also has his own agenda as well. But yes, it's like The Empire Strikes Back, and that it ends, it's kind of on a depressing note, whereas the first one ended on a more hopeful note that they'd survived. It's like, where do they all go from here? You know, it's like, how do they resolve this? And I'd said previously that I thought this had dragged, but that was because when I first read it, it had been a couple of years since I read the Glass books, because I read this straight after Glass books. It was great. It flowed on very well, and it was much better than I remembered. But yes, I've started reading The Chemical Marriage for the conclusion of all of this. But we shall see how that works out, because I can't really remember what goes on in that one. But there you go, guys. The Dark Volume by G.W. Dahlquist. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this content. Leave me a comment or suggestion for a topic you'd like to see discussed, or like the video.